What's left over post-Thanksgiving for the Arizona Cardinals? Is it a loss against Baker Mayfield in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, or can the Cardinals continue their good string against Baker Mayfield-led teams? And Johnny, is Marvin Harrison Jr. poised to return?
Yeah, how will the Cardinals dish out their targets? Plus, Bo and I are going to look at the top 10 of the 2025-2026 NFL Draft. How high can the Cardinals climb? PHNX Cardinals starts now. Hey, welcome in. Live from Studio K, presented by our friends at Circle K. Hey, it's the PHNX Cardinals podcast, your premier, #1 in the world, Arizona Cardinal podcast. Like and subscribe. It's 5-star wherever you get your programming. Happy post-Thanksgiving. I'm Johnny Venerable. He is Bo Brack, Noah Man behind the mic. Bo, how was your holiday?
It was great. Got to spend it with Noah. He came by. We had a great time.
Wow.
Lots of things went down at the Brack household we will not talk about. But look, I see a chat divided, and I love to see the supporter emojis for both U of A and ASU in full fledged right now. I mean, I see Steven Jackson representing the Wildcats. I see somebody representing ASU. Let it be known, because it is we're just right there, right before the duel in the desert, a couple hours for it. And of course, PHNX Sports Johnny is going to be your hub for that. Our guys over at the AZ Wildcats podcast and PHNX Sun Devils going to keep you up to date. Of course, they got puts on the ground there at Sun Devil Stadium. I believe Damon and Kevin, they're going to be doing a watch along. So make sure you're locked in and subscribe to PHNX Sports for the Territorial Cup. Now, of course, PHNX Cardinals, as we got the NFL, the big league version of this thing. They have got to maybe avoid another losing streak here on Sunday. This episode, though, brought to you by our friends over at Bet365. Download the Bet365 app today. Use the code PHNX365. And when you deposit $10, you bet $5, you can get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose.
Big thanks to everybody in the chat willing to spend your holiday weekend with Bo, Noah, and I. Want to remind everybody, got a little bit of a Black Friday sale going on. So if you're doing some family shopping in person or online, check us out. There it is. Cyber Monday and Black Friday, up to 90% off right now. Got some PHNX goodies, including one of my favorite things we've ever done. There's that Arizona football sweatshirt. So much good stuff going on right now. And we've got deals on deals. Keep in mind, Cyber Monday is going to be a big day for those who are looking to re-up or start a new bow with their diehard membership. So again, do us a favor, check out these sales, do yourself a favor, save big money. We got some single-digit shirts, friends. Where else are you going to find that?
Yeah, it's going to be tough. You'd be hard-pressed to find gear it looks this good at this price. I'm contemplating. I think I'm just going to pull the trigger on it. I saw a couple small Greg Dortch t-shirts for about $6. I might get them for some keepsakes for the little guys here. But yeah, you can't beat what's going on the Black Friday and then soon to come Cyber Monday sale. Little birdie told me, Johnny, it's probably the best diehard deal we've had yet.
Okay, I love it. I can't wait to see it. Can I wait to see the Cardinals this weekend? Maybe I'm like, hey, it's on. I'm going to turn it on. But of course, we're going to watch it. We're going to break it all down. We're going to have our watch along at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. And it's like, okay, Cardinals not theoretically out of the postseason, but most of us feel like this is a lost season, Bo. Fast forward to this weekend. It does appear like the Cardinals are getting some key players back, but I want to first start with the news. Todd Bowles said Baker Mayfield is trending toward playing. Yeah. How refreshing, a head coach that just comes out and says, like, Baker Mayfield probably going to play.
Right. Well, I think because otherwise Baker Mayfield would have made it known himself. I mean, the guy is just kind of a force. It's a pain tolerance thing with Baker. It doesn't seem like it's something that can be, injured more so than not, any more than like any other kind of just risk of playing football.
Right.
So Baker Mayfield just showing, who he is, and he's going to go gut it out because he understands the Bucs at 6-5. They need to be able to stack as many wins as possible, even though they're in that just poverty division called the NFC South. They do need to distance themselves a bit. The Carolina Panthers, and you see it from their franchise quarterback, wants to get out there and wants to play. If he, if he's got a pulse and he can get upright, he seems like one of those gamers that would just do anything he can to play.
Tough break for the Cardinals, but again, it removes our must-win label from this game. You can't go out there and lose to Teddy Bridgewater. I mean, Jonathan Gannon and this Cardinal team, they need all the wins they can get. So we're not here making excuses, but somehow, as down as this season may be, the optics of losing to Teddy Bridgewater would take it to a new level, friend. Let's flip the script. Let's look on the Cardinals side of things. Let's start with the bad. Yeah. It looked like Trey Benson, the second-year running back out of Florida State, Bo, was like trending toward playing last week. He didn't. And then this week, he has had a non-practice designation, did not practice designation the last 2 days with a knee. What's the deal here? Is he done?
Yeah, I can't say so for sure. I mean, Jonathan Gannon was asked if it looked like it could be a shutdown situation, and he really only kind of pleaded the fifth for the most part and said, day by day. But it's not a good sign, Johnny, that Trey Benson, whose 21-day practice window was open last week, that he's had back-to-back DNPs. And, coming off of, the knee injury that he suffered. And you look at the Cardinals' record, but I think this is more, health-related. It might be in his best interest to maybe just call it a season at this point.
It's frustrating. Jonathan Gannon is not going to call anything a setback. We've learned that about JG. But, you just got to put the pieces together here. He was moving around practicing last week, and a lot of us thought, okay, it's just trending on him playing late November, early December. And I'm with you. I think at this point, they'd be best served shutting him down. I mean, hopefully DeMercado can come back and play again this season. But Bam Knight, Michael Carter, Bam Knight, with all due respect, 1.2 yards per carry last week against Jacksonville.
Yeah.
It's a tough sledding. It's a bad combination when you can't run block and you have no running backs like that. Right. That's a tough look. But if you're in the camp of you want to see the Cardinals be entertaining through the air, guess what? I think we're signing up for 6 more weeks of that as a result of this. Jacoby Brissett, start warming up now. The over-under for Jacoby Brissett's per game for the rest of the year, I think, has to be at 40.5. Like, I don't envision him not having to throw early and often beginning this week.
Right. Yeah, I think it bodes well for, betting props as far as hitting the over, and then also as far as looking at Brissett himself and a couple of the Cardinals' key playmakers in the passing attack as far as the worth of Jacoby Brissett and how they're going to operate offense. But as far as it being able to play winning football and ball control football and, assault the clock away football and what they want to do as an offense, it's the furthest thing from it. So, this pass heavy attack, it's not going anywhere. But could it get an addition in the form of Marvin Harrison Jr. returning from the appendicitis that he had surgery for, that he gave us some insight on? Look, now they're just going to, their semi-champagne problem is how they distribute that football in the passing game.
Yeah. Let's talk about Marvin Harrison Jr. He was held out of practice the last 2 weeks. He's been practicing all week. We think he's going to play. He was made available to you and the rest of the Phoenix media. Anyway, he does not suit up this weekend.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think that's something that's realistic, barring any setback, any unforeseen setback. He was back in his regular rotation in during the practice reps. He didn't seem to have any limitations, but I think as far as Marv getting back, maybe we should just listen to hear how Marv is just kind of went through the injury and how he's. Not the injury, but the surgery and how he's feeling now.
It was a long 2 weeks, obviously, but it feels good to be back out here and just trying to take it day by day with everything. Just random, very random. Came out of nowhere Monday night, I think. Checked into the hospital like 2 a.m. Sunday or Tuesday morning. And yeah, good. Some things feel uncomfortable and some things feel kind of normal. So
I mean, that's a tough look right now. I don't think he's ready for a full workload, but the good news is you've got Michael Wilson, who has been one of the best receivers in the NFL since Marvin's absence. And a lot of people are questioning like who's going to delegate what in terms of targets. And I mean, I think Michael's earned the right to continue to be, 8 to 10 targets. I think that's what we talked about, Bo, a couple of days ago. It's like Trey McBride, Marv should all have 8 to 10 targets. Like if Jacoby Brissett is throwing the ball 40 to 50 times a game, 30 of those targets should go to the top 3 playmakers, and then Greg Dortch and the running backs, pick up what's left over. But I mean, like there's just no excuse. Like respectfully, no more targets for Elijah Higgins. Has not been performing. You don't have Zay Jones now. I mean, Michael Carter, Bam Knight, they get a couple targets apiece, but the rest of everybody, like it should run through 18, 11, and 85. Or excuse me, not 11, 18.
I'd love to see 11 out there.
I'd love to see 11. Michael, 14, 18, and 85. That's the passing game the rest of the year.
Love to see it. I've heard some Michael Wilson fantasy managers suggest maybe Marvin Harrison Jr. set one more out. But look, it's never going to be a perfect time to put him back out there in the lineup. But I think, as Gannon had mentioned in his press availability that, they're just listening to the experts here. And it just seems like he's got relatively clean bill of health and shouldn't be putting himself in harm's way there. And just trying to find his sea legs, I guess, as far as just operating at the NFL level. But I mean, I'm in agreement with you. I think it does, at least this week, he takes kind of he plays third fiddle for Trey McBride and Michael Wilson taking top billing here as far as the passing attack. But there should be, plenty meat on that bone, just how they operate offense these days, and also how Tampa is just set up for them to continue that.
Let's touch on a subject we thought we were going to see last weekend. Will Johnson has not played in 3 weeks. We were tipped off he was going to play, and then we were tipped off again that he wasn't going to play ahead of last Sunday. They could have used him against Jacksonville. I thought I saw you posted, John, again, and said he has best practice ever. How can he have his best practice ever and not play? What's happening with Sub-Zero?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where we've been monitoring it week by week, right? And you just felt like, okay, he's out there. He's in a limited capacity. He was one of those limited guys, and he's questionable officially according to the injury report. But in order for them to kind of avoid it being looked at even, worse than it is if he doesn't play this week, and it's just like, well, why didn't you just IR him? Well, I guess he was he was his first full practice today in this, going into 3 weeks plus removed from Monday night performance the last time we saw Will Johnson. So the full and no injury designation, Will Johnson just seems like all systems go.
Yes. So again, Walter Nolan is out. And then I thought this is interesting. So you got no Will Hernandez. So Isaiah Adams, this is going to be, I think, another stretch run of Isaiah Adams getting the end of the season to show this regime what he can do. And like he has been slowly began to be integrated into the lineup. Not to get off on a tangent here on Isaiah Adams, but I do feel like he was a trending up player. He lost his high-level offensive line coach.
Mm-hmm.
The Cardinals couldn't make adjustments as a result when he had ups and downs to begin the season. Petsing company, Justin Fry panicked. They put in Will Hernandez. Will Hernandez is not going to be the answer short-term coming off this ACL. He's been overwhelmed at times. And so now they're like, okay, let's go back to Isaiah Adams. I'm excited to see what he can do, but I'm also like, if he struggles, I'm not going to sit here and be like, well, he can't play. I don't think he's been coached particularly well by the offensive infrastructure. So I would love to be wrong. I would love to see him really kind of blossom at the end of the year. So this is kind of like his second life of this season. He's a top 100 pick that looked good last year. I think the next offensive coordinator is going to have some valuable tape here the last 6 weeks.
No, and you're going to have to have a tough time avoiding fool's gold because you thought, hey, this is somebody that looked good in his small sample size of 5 games last year.
Yeah.
Like, hey, can he be a starter for this team? And we naively believe so. And then he had to go back to the bench where Gannon said he worked on the mental side of this game and technique during his, after exiting the lineup. But, you look at him the last 3 weeks where he's been thrust back into playing, and pass blocking wise, decent against Seattle, decent against San Francisco. San Francisco is one of the worst pass rushes in the league. Is his best performance, and then last week was just atrocious. And when you've got big, nearly 400-pound defensive tackle who's one of the best in the league, and Vita Vea, like that's a tough assignment for Isaiah Adams. He's going to have to put together one of his better performances and just figure it out to some capacity if the Cardinals want to keep Jacoby Brissett upright and also go up against those kind of exotic blitz packages that we all know Todd Bowles likes to throw at you.
John Gaines, we haven't heard from him. We haven't seen him. He's going to be probably the interior offensive line substitutes should something happen. I've got people telling me let's see John Gaines over Evan Brown. I don't think they're going to do that for continuity's sake, but
yeah,
I mean can't get much worse in terms of their inability to run block. Okay, so more healthy than not, but a blow nonetheless that Baker Mayfield looks like he's going to play. Big week for the Cardinals pass rush to make him uncomfortable. Big week for this team, depending on how you're scoring at home with regard to the NFL draft. Bo and I are going to look at the standings entering this weekend. Plus, is Jonathan Gannon and his record in rare company? And can he overcome it with a potential fourth year? That's coming up. It's PHNX. But first, 'tis the season for Shady Rays. I'm telling you right now, I buy them for everybody I know because I love them and I believe in them. You ever get a gift for somebody and you're like, that's crap, and I know it's going to break, and here's a gift receipt, and I'm sorry, I didn't have enough time. It's the opposite with Shady Ray. Do yourself a favor, get a pair right now. I'm telling you right now, they're Black Friday sales. Bonus code PHNX. Go to their website right now. I got a pair shipped to my door for $24. They are so high level. They're durable. If you lose them, they break. They'll replace them for free. They've got over 5 stars on 300,000 reviews. Is that any good? I was a big brand name, quote unquote, brand name Shady or non-Shady Rays supporter for a long time. And then ever since we partnered with them, I'm like, I will never get shades anywhere else. They ship quickly. They've got a huge, diverse selections. I use them to hike. I was hiking the other day here in Phoenix. I use them to walk my dog, hang with my kids, take my kids to the park, whatever. It's Shady Rays is the eyewear that has your back. Try them right now. 35% off with the bonus code PHNX, shadyrays.com.
I hope maybe you're getting out there to Mill tonight for the Territorial Cup in Tempe. That's where you can find the Captain Morgan iHub Tailgate Tour. That's right. It's set sail and dropping anchor right there outside of Sun Devil Stadium, going on from 4 to 8. Captain Morgan ship is dropping the anchor across local Patron in Tempe on Mill. Come see the ship in person. Hang out with our guys over at the PHNX Sun Devils crew. I believe they have captured our friends Anthony Totri and Eric Ruby. I don't think that they would ever pirate that ship. They could never take down Captain Morgan. They could try. You could try yourself as well. If you don't get it out there tonight, you can go tomorrow. It's your last chance to see the ship. On Fridays, it's Southern and Tempe. On Southern and Tempe, don't miss your chance to see the captain ship yourself. Follow them at Captain Morgan USA on Instagram to follow the entire journey.
Big thanks to everybody watching right now. Hit that like button. We're going to dive into your super chats at the end of the show, as well as our predictions for Cards at Bucs early kickoff. Can't wait. Can you wait for the NFL draft, Bo? Let's give everybody a quick primer. Entering this weekend, Cardinals, let's see it, Noah, sit firmly 8th overall ahead of the 2026 NFL draft. They have the toughest strength of schedule right now, so they lose the tiebreaker to the Commanders and Browns. But because the Bungles beat the Baltimore Ravens last night, shocking development. We knew they'd be more viable with Joe Burrow, Bo. The Cardinals go from 9th to 8th. So, again, depending on how you score at home and if you want to see this team have a top pick, where do you suspect, Bo, the Cardinals could be after this weekend, given the slate of games at hand?
Man, yeah, I mean, they've got some ground that they can cover this weekend. I mean, we'll see what happens. Jaden Daniels, right, was at practice for the most part with the Commanders all week. We'll see what his availability is come Sunday, according to I guess he's not been cleared for contact. So Marcus Mariota seems like he's the play there. So can the Commanders get the dub? Probably don't get gain any ground there. But like, I mean, they're going to continue to firmly be in the top 10 unless they beat the Bucs. And that bodes well before you get into this type of season where there's a lot of unknowns and some silly stuff can happen. But I don't think I think that the most damage they can do to their draft position is by winning a football game, outside of like really kind of the jockeying as far as the teams ahead of them in this top 10.
Let's take a look at the standings one more time. I want to go through some of these teams. The Saints play at Miami this weekend. So if the Dolphins win, you figure that they're firmly out of the top 10. And
The Dolphins actually have been playing decent football. I think they should take down the Saints.
Not impossible for the Saints to win this game, though, however. You never know. Dolphins are Jekyll and Hyde. This is a key matchup right now. Jets hosting the Atlanta Falcons. Kirk Cousins having to go up into New York, inclement weather, to face the Jets. Falcons are a 2.5-point favorite. I'm going to tell you right now, if the Jets win this game, there are winnable games left on the schedule. They play the Dolphins and they play the Saints before playing the Bills in the finale. You never know if the Bills could be sitting players or not. So this could be a pivotal game for the Jets. And then the Raiders, do they get a coordinator bump boost from the firing of Chip Kelly, who, I don't know if you saw this yesterday, Bo, was inputting plays during the game. They never even practiced, was botching play calls. I don't think they're going to beat the Chargers at the Chargers, but one game, you never know what may happen. Max Crosby and the boys getting fired up. Geno Smith, revenge game. So here's what I know. Giants are playing a very viable, I think, New England team. Yeah. So I think they're toast, even though Jackson Dart is back. You need to keep him healthy to try to get some dubs at the end of the year. The rest of these games, though, minus Titans, be interesting watches. We're following along with the Cardinals.
Yeah, no, I can appreciate you trying to give some hope to these bad teams, finding a way this weekend. But like I said, the Cardinals, they can be the only that kind of control their own destiny this weekend. Like if anything's going to be detrimental to their draft stock, it's going to be them winning a football game. So you can look at that as a catch-22. They would avoid a 3-game losing skid, or they lose their third straight and they're 9th of 10, and they continue to be firmly in the top 10.
I'll never openly root for them to lose because we want the players to have success, but I also feel like Cardinal fans want to be rewarded with a high pick after having to endure this kind of season. And you watch the Chicago Bears right now, what Ben Johnson is doing, like that's the kind of year the Cardinals were supposed to have. Instead, it's been littered with embarrassment. It's been littered with off-the-field drama with the DeMercado situation, blown fourth quarter leads, non-competitive division games. Like the biggest win remaining for Cardinal fans, a lot of them is, hey, get me in the top 5 and let us get a quarterback of the future, whether it's Dante Moore type Simpson or Fernando Mendoza. So I do think if they lose out, they will have a top 5 pick. I think enough chips will fall. Maybe it's right at 5, but anything more than that, I think you're looking at between 6 to 12. So we'll wait to see. Quarterbacks fall. They could always trade up. So it's a long way to go before now and the end of April.
Bingo Flex, and I need to let you guys all have hope. I mean, look, I this is just one of those seasons, and it's very Cardinals, to where when it comes down to it, do they also become bad at being bad when they need to be? And I've seen that happen a lot as well.
I think just their schedule, it's tough. I mean,
yeah.
You think they're going to go to Cincinnati and win after what we saw last night?
I think it's very possible. You've got 2, potential blowout games the next, Sunday and the following Sunday. The Rams on tap.
Falcons game is the game to keep in mind and see what's left of that team after the next couple of weeks. We're coming back around the corner. We're going to talk Jonathan Gannon. We've been asking ourselves publicly and privately, Jonathan Gannon does get a 4th year. Where does that put him in the company of coaches that have not won yet? That and more, it's PHNX. Hit that like. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm cooking up a tasty NFL Sunday parlay via our friends at Bet365. I'm going to give you just a little taste right now. Bo went 3 for 3, by the way, on his bets a week ago. So I have to up my game. I'm going to tell you right now, LA Rams -10 this weekend against Carolina at Carolina. Swallow the points. I mean, I hate the Rams. -10, though. I mean, like, does anybody think the Rams aren't winning by 2 touchdowns? Hello. Do yourself a favor. Get locked in with Bet365. If you're a new customer right now, $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. Use the bonus code PHNX365. Again, deposit 10, place a $5 bet, and boom, your bonus bets can be used on spreads, totals, player props, and more. You got to be 21 years and older, physically located in Arizona. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP, text NEXT STEP to 53342, or visit problemgambling.az.gov, Bo, for more info.
Love that. Hoping you can match it. My 3 for 3. I'm rooting for you. I'm pulling for you. It's not easy to do, but I like your bets this weekend. I also love that yesterday I was like head to toe and even underneath Mac Weldon.
Yeah.
I just wearing all Mac Weldon. That's just who I am now. It's just, is Bo the guy that just wears Mac Weldon and PHNX gear? Yeah, that's me. It's because it's the most comfortable, but also you can wear it to Thanksgiving dinner. You can wear it a night out on town. You also can find clothes that you can just wear to the gym. They've got just clothes for moments that you can look for comfort, and you can count on the style being there as well with Mac Weldon. Explore new hoodies, zips, half zips, sweats, crew necks, more at macweldon.com. Get 20% off your first order of $125 or more with the code PHNX. It's unbelievable how comfortable it is, and I'm a change man as far as where I go, where I turn as far as my underwear. It's Mac Weldon. As far as their cool technology, these are the best underwear that I have in my drawer. Fall into comfort with Mac Weldon's Ace Collection. Go to macweldon.com. Get that 20% off your first order of $125 or more with the promo code PHNX. That's MACKWELDON.com, promo code PHNX.
I just saw a clip of Ben Johnson taking his shirt off in the locker room, celebrating with the Chicago Bears. And I just think like that should be us. And instead slumming it here in late November with a last place team. Bo, you were in the lab, a different kind of lab today, pulling up numbies and statistics.
Yeah.
As it relates, we have asked ourselves this publicly and privately. We believe Jonathan Gannon will be retained. If he's retained with a record that's, hovering around 20 games under 500, where does that put him in the coaching history books of guys who got a fourth year, and subsequently, how did that go in the fourth year?
Right.
Bo, tell us what you found.
Yeah, that was something we've been kind of stewing on, right? But never really kind of jumped, head first into the pool here. But kind of got after it a little bit and started to kind of see what the history is of that. And this is what we're kind of unable to unearth. The Arizona Cardinals head coach Jonathan Gannon firmly going to finish his third season under 500. He's going to finish, I think, under 400. And I was looking for sub 500 head coaches that got a fourth season and went kind of in the modern era. So this is your salary cap era. So you'll see it began in 92, and you'll see it's about, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 coaches here, Johnny, who after 3 losing seasons went into their fourth season, and you'll realize it didn't end well for the majority of them. Like outside of Jeff Fisher, Gary Kubiak, and then Jeff Fisher and David Shula, most of these coaches in their fourth season were either fired mid-season or fired after their fourth season.
Yeah. What this tells me is that NFL GMs and executives have gotten increasingly less patient.
Yep.
There's a huge gap between Gus Bradley, Joe Philbin, and Robert Saleh. Robert Saleh also had 2 7-10 win seasons, and his side of the ball was great. I mean, they had a top defense. He just was carrying along the corpse of Zach Wilson. And then Aaron Rodgers forced him out of town. So there's been one coach since 2013 that's gotten a fourth season. So we are very much in uncharted territories.
Yeah.
We're in a position where I mean, Jonathan Gannon could surprise everybody and stack some dubs here at the end of the season, and you'd be feeling a little bit better. But if he finishes with 16, 17 wins and 30 plus losses, I mean, it's very much Mike Nolan, Dom Capers, David Shula, Sam Weiss-esque. I mean, it's a
Gus
tough
Bradley.
look. I mean, he's going to be in a class of his own in terms of coaches that got a fourth year this far under 500. I understand, we got it that first year was doesn't matter what the record is. Do what you can, build the culture. And then last year, basically trending around 500. Okay, build off of that. Even if he had been under 500 this year, it's okay, what are you? 7-10, 8-9? How are the optics? Are you competing? Are you beating some divisional opponents? I mean, the Cardinals are a Rams non-sitting team away in the finale of going 0-6 in the division. Three fourth-place finishes in 4 years and double-digit losses in 3 of the 4 years. I mean, it's really, really tough to be able to sell this to the fan base that is starved for winning right now.
Yeah, they would do some gross things just to get a winning season, but you look at that and there's just there's a precedent for it. It's not something that hasn't happened. It just happens, very very rarely. And you look at these, and I remember Gus Bradley being in Jacksonville, and it was just I didn't know it was that bad. I mean, the guy had 12 wins through his first 3 seasons, and then went on to just get 2 more through 14 games before they're like, yeah, that's enough.
Yeah,
I'd say so. But if you look at it too, how many of these guys, the guys that did turn it around, I look at Kubiak in Houston.
Yes.
And I also look at Fisher with this, where he was most successful in the NFL. It was with the Titans coming out. What happened for them to kind of really find consistency, Johnny? Can you find you know what the common denominator was?
Oh man. Quarterback
play. Yeah. I mean, Steve McNair emerged with the Titans.
Yeah.
And he went from a guy they drafted and developed. And then I believe Matt Schaub, when he made his way to Houston, to the Texans with Kubiak, I think that's when he was able to kind of turn some things around for the Texans. But a lot of these coaches were just plagued by having a hole at the quarterback position. You mentioned Saleh, Bradley, as far as the Jags, that was just a mess. Before they took Bortles, who had it was kind of like lightning in a bottle one year and then was done.
Yeah.
Philbin in Miami, never had anybody consistently. It was mostly backup caliber quarterbacks, which is, the cautionary tale there. So it's, and the Niners were a mess way back in the 2005. I mean, it was a good time to beat up on the Niners, but those years are gone.
It's these coaches, Dick Duran had success previously. As you mentioned, Jeff Fisher, Robert Saleh is going to be a head coach again, maybe as soon as this offseason. Gus Bradley, really unfortunate. I mean, Kubiak is the best example, but look at Kubiak. It's Kubiak, to me, he had some juice for a little while, and his record was at least close to 500. Same thing with Jeff Fisher. If you and I both agree, if Gannon's record was close to 500, we wouldn't even be having this conversation.
Right.
Even if you're in last place this year, but you beat the Titans and you beat the Jags and maybe you beat the Niners once, and it's just okay, Cardinals aren't going anywhere, but we at least can say okay, they're not a sinking ship. Instead, we're talking about, are the players quitting? You've got a quarterback dilemma that you yourself, it feels started. You can't win in the division.
Yeah.
It's a lot of those coaches got less time and they didn't have those kind of issues. I think right now they're going to go into this offseason, should he be retained, and it's going to be one lever to pull. And the lever is going to be, well, Kyler Murray, it's just the relationship fell apart and we're going to get a mulligan. And to that I say, good luck with what your quarterback answer is next year. I mean, we talk about it ad nauseum, off air, on air. It's Davis Mills, Mac Jones, those are the options this offseason. They're not great options. Also, the Cardinals offense is not good, But the defense, you could make an argument, has been the biggest disappointment. I mean, the Bears are winning games with a quarterback who isn't completing a lot of passes, making timely throws, but they're holding teams to like 15 points.
Mm-hmm.
That was supposed to be the recipe. It was like, okay, Kyler might have limitations, but you can run the ball and you can stop people.
Yeah.
They can't stop anybody.
Right.
And in the games where they can, the offense looks like they're I mean, the staff looks like a high school staff. No disrespect to high school coaches. So I put all that together, and it's just like Jonathan Gannon needs a stretch of quality defensive play like he needs air. These last, and I'm just, you mentioned those Rams games. That could get ugly fast.
Yeah. It's coming too soon, right? It's a week from Sunday. McVay's coming to town, and he's probably going to do what he usually does. Hopefully you can keep it from becoming a laugher. But no, I think you nailed it. I mean, as far as what's this team do consistently? Like I'm just thinking about less than a week ago in that Jacksonville game where Budda Baker comes up with the big pick. They score a touchdown, and after this defense was lights out for a stretch, they folded. They looked like they did on the first drive of the game where it was just, what was it like? It was 5 plays, 97 yards. And then, this next series that they had after they had the go ahead score, it was like 4 or 5 plays, 60 yards, and they were in the end zone. It was just, it didn't look competitive after, doing what they needed to do to scratch and claw back into that game into the lead.
I was texting with somebody before the show, and I think this, I know we're talking about the defense. I just think this is everything. It's like Jonathan Gannon hiring Drew Petzing is the biggest mistake of his tenure, because then it's compounded other mistakes to follow where you lose Clayton Adams. You can't evaluate players or people on your staff. That, to me, I mean, the fact that I can't believe we're talking about Drew Petzing on November 28th right now. And again, no disrespect to him as a person, but it just, man, you think about like these other coaches in the NFL that they know there's a sense of urgency. You recruit your ass off and you get better people, or you die trying. Whereas like I'm watching this right now, and none of the Cardinals could play well defensively this weekend. We'll see. None of us feel confident that Drew Petzing is going to be able to press the right button with Marv this weekend in the red zone, right? Overcoming running backs being out. It is depressing. And we didn't even touch on this, like Brian Schottenheimer taking Clayton Adams away, what they did yesterday to Kansas City up front. And you watch their offensive line, it's fine. Mm-hmm. I think Cardinals offensive line has more investments, high talent, and it just doesn't matter. It's a coaching league. And Jonathan Gannon, if you're a first-time head coach as a defensive coach, your first order of business, if you wanted to hire Nick Wallace, Wonderkin as a DC, should have been, I'm going to get a veteran offensive play caller to own that side of the ball. And instead, he took a guy who does not have any business calling plays and has no experience calling plays. Yeah. And now it could be look at those stats. It's just like, that's what happens when you let Drew Petzing, they can't be good teams. 0-11, 19 points per game. That's it.
Yeah. And like you can have a lot of trust and conviction in these guys as far as their football acumen, their, things they're doing as far as schematics and coaching up these players. But there's just there's no wisdom. There's no years in any of those rooms. And in 2023, that's fine as you cut your teeth. But like after you had key coordinators and position coaches leave this and exit this organization, why didn't you turn to some vet coaches to kind of bring that in? Like, in having that outside perspective, I think it was a big time misstep that, especially when you're losing tight games, you could have avoided at least one or two of them by having somebody who's been around the block and could, provide some sort of insight, instead of just like, well, we're just going to continue to do the same thing over and over again, and we trust this process and our people that are involved in it. It's like, well, I think you need some perspective. I think you need some outside eyes, and I think you need some people that have experienced it, for longer in big positions than your guys have.
We're going to break it down ahead of this weekend. Cards at Bucs. I think one of the last early kickoffs of the year. Hope everybody's having a wonderful, happy, and healthy holiday weekend. We're back around the corner with our players of the game. I got my MVP all day, every day with our friends at Desert Financial Credit Union. I have been a member personally of Desert Financial Credit Union since I moved to the Valley. One of the best financial decisions I have ever made. I had an old, kind of rickety credit union in the Midwest that, it was cut and dry, right? It was boilerplate. And then I went to Desert Financial Credit Union and I saw what next level financial experts could do for me and my family. They're committed to their members and the community, offering financial solutions tailored to helping real life people achieve their financial goals and dreams. Save with Desert Financial, as you can open up a checking account, right? Or a savings account, but they also do mortgages. You want a lower interest rate? Talk to them. Loans, credit cards, investment options, and so much more. When you open up a free checking account online, you're going to get $200 in bonuses. $200 right now. All you got to do, get started by visiting desertfinancial.com/200, Bo.
Love that from Desert Financial. Also love what's going on with our husband and wife law team. If you've been in a serious accident or you have an injury or you're, obviously involved in an awful wrongful death case, well, look to Alexis and Mark Breyer of the husband and wife law team. Phoenix is their home, and they want to help their community give back and provide excellent legal advice as your attorney. Hire an attorney focused on your best outcome, not just money that the firm makes. That's the husband and wife law team, big time Valley sports fans. They just love to get their team of lawyers ready to win you your case. Check them out right now. If you've had a serious injury, call the husband and wife law team at 602-783-8841. At 602-783-8841 and visit their website. You can find a link here in the show notes. Tell them Johnny and Bo from PHNX sent you. Make sure to say Mark and Alexis, what's up to the husband and wife law team.
All right, prediction time. Players of the game. Bo, you want to kick things off with who you like in Tampa?
Yeah, I mean, Marvin Harrison Jr. looks like he's poised to return, but I'm going to go a different direction as far as where the Arizona Cardinals need to be successful and who can be key to them maybe finding a path to victory. I'm looking to a guy that has had a solid season on a unit that has been really kind of underachieving, Paris Johnson Jr., with all the things that Todd Bowles likes to throw up at you up front, as far as the exotic blitzes and the how he disguises things. It's going to be imperative for Cardinals left tackle to hold things down and hopefully keep Jacoby Brissett upright, and maybe even be a bully a little bit in the run game, something we haven't seen from this line as a whole entire season. So I'm going to stay in the trenches for my defensive player of the game, Calais Campbell, because I think it's going to be imperative for the Cardinals to create pressure on maybe not 100% Baker Mayfield, but mostly slow down this run game, which is so potent. It's getting even stronger with Bucky Irving rejoining Rashard White and Sean Tucker. I think Calais Campbell needs to continue to turn back the clock. And it's unfortunate that you have to rely upon a 39-year-old defensive lineman as your key player on defense, with the Walter Nolan, being out with the knee injury. But it's going to have to come down to Calais again. And then I'm hoping, with him being off the injury report, Will Johnson's ready to go. And, even though Baker and this passing attack is taking care of the football, can the Cardinals do what they did last week and, continue to create turnover? So give me sub-zero Will Johnson as my X factor in this game and his return to the lineup.
Love those players. I expect Paris to play well. I expect Calais to play well. And if Will Johnson plays, I think we've come to, expect high level of play from him. But again, you hit the nail on the head. Like, Calais having to be your best defensive lineman is just a depressing thought, given the fact that Walter Nolan is out and Darius Robinson still has a ways to go.
Yeah.
But
and I didn't want to do that. Like, I didn't want to do like the hopeful, wishful, like, well, if Darius can do it, it's like, no, Calais is still playing, good as far as getting pressure on the quarterback and sound in the run game. Like, I'm just going to go with old steady 93.
Let's go with my picks here. I'm gonna go off the grid. I'm gonna say Marvin has a big game. I think that they're kind of slow playing this nationally, and I think there will be attention on Michael Wilson. I still expect him to play well, but I think Marvin picks up where he left off. The Bucs have one of the worst pass defenses in the NFL. They've consistently give up big quarterback numbers, it's all going to be about, as Bo mentioned, the offensive line and their protection. But I think Marv has a nice day. I could see 80-plus yards and a touchdown for number 18. How about on the defensive side? Baron Browning, I'm just not convinced, is going to be able to have consistent reps post-concussion. Jordan Burch had a sack last week. Let's see if he can build on it, right? It's been much more physical in the run game. Baron Browning's been lukewarm this year. I want to see 52 get more opportunities because I want to see if he can emerge as a realistic option going into 2026 opposite Josh Sweat, right? Talking about could they use a top 10 pick on an edge rusher? Just like Isaiah Adams that I'm going to touch on here in a second. Give Jordan Burch these last 6 games. Let's see what he can do. And then Isaiah Adams, we mentioned him in the first segment. He's going to be starting at right guard. He's going to have Kelvin Beachum there with him. He's a strong individual. The biggest concern for him, pass protection, knowing his assignments, and being coached up. But from a physical standpoint, I have no concerns about him. I know he's physically imposing. I know he's more capable physically than Will Hernandez right now. But can they be able to coach him to a point of winning, coaching success? That's what's so imperative. So maybe all that time on the bench, being able to have the game slow down a little bit for big number 74, that it would be so. The 2024 draft right now is the outlier draft for Ossenford, where it was supposed to be the all-in draft. Some of these picks need to show something over the last month and a half for us to feel good about that, and it starts with Isaiah Adams, Bo. Bo, you're muted, my guy.
Yeah, that would be a big coup for the Cardinals, with 7 games left here in this season, 6 games left in this season, for Isaiah Adams to regain the trust of this team, this fan base, and say, hey, he can play that position. He can be a starting caliber player for the Cardinals out of that 2024 draft class that it seems to get worse by the week. I'm watching Max Melton practice today, Johnny, and along with Trey Benson being on the shelf, Max Melton is, I don't know where he stands in the cornerback rotation right now, but
Did he be traded this offseason?
I don't know, because it just seems like, as far as on the defensive side of things and special teams, he's been given a role there, and he played very well in it last week and last year. But as far as the defensive back rotation, it just really seems like he's fallen pretty far down the depth chart. And Will Johnson, Garrett Williams, and then Denzel Burke, Keitrell Clark seem to be the guys that would be up before Max Melton would get another opportunity.
Yeah, I wonder if something happened internally that we don't know about. I never felt like Max Melton was a liability on the field. And we talked to Jonathan Gannon about him in August. He raved about him. He said he's our fastest corner. We need him. So I don't know. I wonder, maybe we'll dig a little bit more on that. I want to touch on a potential release that happened. Not a potential release that did happen today. No, go ahead. Rep out what you like this weekend, my guy.
Well, I'm not going to harp too much on Isaiah Adams, as he's my offensive guy, since we just talked about him, and I agree with all the points you guys had about him. Defense, we got Josh Sweat. Just get another sack. Just keep adding to the totals. Be cool to have a guy with a bunch of sacks this year, I guess. X Factor, Chad Ryland, because he's going to have half of our points, is my guess. So, pretty simple.
Love that. And again, Chad Ryland, it's been okay. Been solid this weekend. And our guy Prater been doing well for the Buffalo Bills. All right. Let's take our last break. Let's come back around. And there was a little bit of a shocking release today. This late in the season for a player that at this time last year was starting for the Cardinals. We'll tell you what happened right around the corner. It's PHNX. I'm going to tell you right now is the time to take advantage of a smart thermostat. I always tell people, it's one of the biggest transitions I had to make when I moved from the Midwest to the Valley was preparing for my cooling and heating bill. I was just I was not prepared, right? That first crooked number that may or may not have a 6 in front of it, I was like, I need new answers, and I got them with our friends at APS Smart Thermostats. Right now, entertaining is a big part of the holidays to keep guests comfortable and energy costs manageable. Get a smart thermostat. If you're an APS customer, visit aps.com/sale to learn how to get a new smart thermostat for as low as $0. If you need one, go to the website. Shipping and taxes not included. Other restrictions apply. I promise you, if you want to keep up with the Joneses 2025, 2026, save money, get a smart thermostat. You're not going to regret it.
Love that. Love Gila River Resorts and Casinos. We make our return on Sundays. Johnny was mentioning a little kegs and eggs, a little breakfast and beer for an early kickoff for the Redbirds. No one does it better than Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit any of their 4 locations: Lone Butte, Vicuña, Santan Mountain, and of course, Wild Horse Pass. Experience the best the Valley has to offer. Lounge at either the AAA 4-diamond resorts and let relaxation take charge. Unbeatable desert mountain views. Get up to Shula's Steakhouse, and you get the best glimpse of the valley that you can really find anywhere, except for Johnny. He's a little scared to be up there.
I am.
Don't stand too close to the balcony. Go to the 4,500 slots, live table games. Catch all the action in the sports books. Go big, and go home a winner with Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Unprecedented level of entertainment. You do you. Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playathgila.com for all the details.
Hit that like button. Subscribe to PHNX Sports. This dropped earlier today via Bo Brock on Twitter. The Cardinals are releasing second-year pass rusher Xavier Thomas. Xavier Thomas, a 5th rounder last season out of Clemson, played a pivotal role down the stretch for the Cardinals pass rush, 2.5 sacks the end of last year, and was an active player, special teams in the preseason, had some juice, but Cardinals went out and fortified that pass rush this offseason with Jordan Birch and Josh Sweat. What made him expendable, and why now, Bo?
Yeah, those players that you just mentioned, right? And the B.J. Ojulari coming back and showing that he can get a little burst off the line of scrimmage and continue to do a couple things that the Cardinals wanted from him. Just 4 games this season from Xavier Thomas was a consistent, healthy scratch. And the Arizona Cardinals just didn't see any reason to roster him. And I'm sure we're trying to do good by the player as well. And they're just moving forward. We talk about that 2024 draft class. Xavier Thomas, right? 5th round pick. And he's kind of won and some change done with the organization.
You know, we had heard some rumblings in the offseason that he had all the talent in the world, but just had a tough time knowing his assignment when he was in the game, right? And he was kind of like a bull, in a china shop a little bit. It's just like going after whomever, whenever, however.
Yeah.
And that's in this defense specifically, you have to have that gap, assignment. You have to know where you're supposed to be. I remember talking to Jonathan Gannon in the offseason at the combine, off air. And I was talking to him about, the sacks and the pressures and where those figures were. And he said that, a lot of players around the NFL can just go rogue and try to get a sack. And then it puts the rest of the 10 players on defense kind of in a tough spot. And I always thought about that in relation. Gannon didn't tell us what we had heard about Xavier Thomas, but I kind of put 2 and 2 together. And it's just like he's a 25-year-old. He'd been in Clemson for 5 or 6 years. He had that COVID, season kind of mixed in.
Yeah.
So he's a very capable player, and I wouldn't be surprised for him to kind of stick somewhere else. But I think the Cardinals clearly like what they have. And I for one, maybe this is, to your point, a ding in the right projection for B.J. Ojulari next year. It's like, okay, can you get enough out of Ojulari, Browning, Burke, and Sweat? And then you've got Zaven Collins in there. Like, theoretically, that should be enough.
Yeah. Look, he had one skill. It was pinning his ears back and going after the quarterback. It's kind of what you were outlining there, where you have to be a versatile outside linebacker for this defense. And like when you look at his one skill, it was fine. Like I think it was on par with some of the guys that were, considered relative to the group outside of Josh Sweat as far as his ability to get to the quarterback. But he could only throw like a mid-90s fastball, and that was it. That's it. He wasn't throwing 100, right? He wasn't like a double-digit sack artist on his best day, but he was a guy relative to the group that had the a little bit of a niche for getting after the quarterback, and they couldn't find any PT for him, and they've just got some guys that they've invested in, whether it's cap dollars or, higher draft picks that they've got ahead of them.
Interesting dynamic, interesting little news drop here on a Friday. Let's get to final predictions here. Noah, man, let's see him. And I think we are universally across the board expecting a loss. Although, Bo, you're the most, optimistic of a competitive game. Cardinals, in your projection, would have their first 30-point outing of the year. What do you think?
Yeah, I think they're going to have to score points on Sunday. As you mentioned about the pass defense from the Bucs, it's something that they kind of struggle with. And the Bucs are a team that, at 6-5, they've given up more points on average than they score. I think they score about 23.5 and they give up over 25 points per game.
Yeah.
This is a team that can give up some points in a lot of them. I think it's just going to be another one of those games where the Cardinals hang around and make it close and tear your heart out again.
I mean, I'd sign up for a close game. I don't think we see one. I think this is the first kind of out-of-division game where the Cardinals really just do not compete, specifically offensively. I think this is a very winnable game if Bruce Arians is your coach, if Clayton Adams is in the fold, if this is a different set of circumstances. I don't trust the Cardinals' offensive infrastructure and specifically their play caller to outwit Todd Bowles. I just think Todd Bowles can be so aggressive toward Jacoby Brissett with his blitzes, his exotic blitzes. Nobody blitzes more in the NFL than Todd Bowles. I think Jacoby Brissett is going to be sacked. I think there could be some turnovers. The Cardinals can't run the football. Vita Vea, Bam Knight, not a good matchup there. So I will be pleasantly surprised if they can keep it going. But man, I look at these matchups at the end of the year, and I don't think there's. I mean, Drew Petzing got outcoached by the Jags first year DC last week. Like, how's he going to look against Todd Bowles? Jonathan Gannon, you're going to need some more takeaways on that defense.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the love for Bowles is justifiable, right? We've seen him coach up defenses for the last decade, including the Cardinals. But it hasn't been trending that well for the Bucs. I mean, the way the offense is set up for the Cardinals currently is like they will give up the negative plays, they will give up the sacks, but they will also get their errors as far as making plays, splash plays down the field, and this is not a secondary that I think is really set up to slow them down as much as they're going to want to.
Noah, break down your pick with a firm blowout at the hands of the Tampa Bay Bucs.
Yeah, I got 31-13 here. I just don't think it's going to be close at all. I think it's going to be a bloodbath. I think this is the game where you really start to see most players be like, okay, this is enough. We've had enough. We're done.
I will say, if that happens, not Bo's outcome, but mine and Noah's, I do think for the first time that Drew Petzing or somebody could be fired Sunday, Monday. I think there's a potential for that, because I also think you would need to go then into the Rams game with, hey, we're trying out new people. We're trying new stuff. So if it doesn't look great, it's not our fault. If you want blood, if you want coaching changes, I think this could be the game that you get it if they do not perform, because then you're talking about 5 games left, and let somebody else try this for the final month, 5 weeks of the season. So I'll throw that out there. I don't have that source or anything. It's just kind of a gut feeling based on how last week went. If you follow up last week with everybody pointing the finger at you, you're an embarrassment. You can't handle into the game offensively, and then a no-show out east, you're done.
Yeah, I just think that this is one of the, especially the back end of his defense. It's just one of the lesser talented assignments they've had. Like the Jags at least are decent up front. They slow down the run, and they were opportunistic in trying to make turnovers, and they had to be careful with that. So I don't know. I think this is a little different game, but look, could be a long flight home. I mean, we're talking about going from Tampa back to AZ. That could be a long 5-hour flight. All
right, Bo, you want to hammer these super chats?
Absolutely. Let's do it. taking a look. No, if you would, it's our guy Chef. $10. Can't wait to see this guy on Sunday. This type of game where we'll win. Everyone assumes that we can't beat Tampa team, and we play another game like Dallas. One helps JG, but just one W takes us out of the top 3 QB race.
Yeah, I think they would have to lose out to have a chance at one of the big quarterbacks, assuming that everybody declares, which we're all Oregon fans here in the college football playoff. We're all Bama fans. And, of course, we're all Indiana fans. You want those 3 teams to win so their quarterbacks can say, see ya.
Keeping it going here with our super chats. It's Chef. There's plenty of time. New Orleans plays the Dolphins, Jets, Tennessee, Atlanta. Cleveland plays Tennessee, Cincinnati, Jets. The Jets play Atlanta, Miami, Jacksonville, New Orleans. Giants play Washington, Minnesota, Vegas. Tennessee plays Cleveland, New Orleans. We can pick number 4 if each team beats just one team each. Everybody,
I'm with Shaft.
Partner up and beat another team, and we can get high enough to maybe get one of these quarterbacks. I don't think I brought it up on the show last time we were live, but man, what a our guy Nate Tice got a lot of crap for just saying, like, if Arch Manning were to declare, which the odds are more so that he stays at Texas or in college. Man, what a difference that would make for this quarterback class. I'm not saying the Cardinals should be in the Arch Manning business, but just adding another QB to the mix would benefit them really well.
Let's get more people to declare. I mean, there are going to be so many teams that need quarterbacks. I think these quarterbacks would be wise to all come out. I'm with Shaft. I think we got a long way to go. Anybody who thinks like the Cardinals are separated from the number 2 spot in the draft by a game and strength of schedule. So let's just see how this chip falls. Shaft back again. Bo, JG should have brought an OC who could get the best out of K1 like Cliff did his first 3 years. No, he brings in Drew who ruins K1, and now we're in a really bad position needing a new quarterback, and we've got one that's expensive right now.
Yeah. No, I think that's the biggest maybe failure of this regime as far as putting Kyler Murray in a position for success. It looked like there was going to be the offensive infrastructure from a play calling standpoint, offensive line protection standpoint, playmaking, where it just it never materialized and things regressed. And they just didn't put Kyler in a position like he did with Cliff, where he was pushing the ball downfield and utilizing, both of his talents as far as his arm talent and his legs.
Keeping things going here, Steven Jackson. And appreciate Shaft for all those kind of super chats, my guy. If all the top quarterbacks are gone, by the time we pick, we should take Jeremiah Love if he's available. Benson doesn't look like he's it. I agree with the latter half, and we really didn't get to touch on a lot of that. I think this is damning for Trey Benson. And again, he's going to be on the team next year. He'll be around, but like the first game that he gets to take over for James Conner, he could potentially be done for the year. He's going to be on the team. I just don't think you go into next year with like, he's the guy, he's RB1. James Conner is expensive and he's older next. I don't want to take a back that high. Steven Jackson, I think as early as round 2, I'd be open to it. But this backfield, just like this quarterback class or this quarterback room, I think is up for debate.
Yeah, I'm not in on taking Love in the first round. I'm kind of anti-RB in round 1 in the NFL draft. Can you bring somebody in to supplement Benson and just best running back gets to become the bell cow, the main ball carrier? I'm not with Johnny though as far as just counting Benson out just because he had a meniscus.
I am. Lamar Washington, 6977, $5. I think you guys are expecting too much from this season. They're clearly losing out. I think they're going to lose out. I mean, like when the next time we're going to pick them? Like Atlanta, are they going to beat the Atlanta Falcons? Like what if they beat the Atlanta Falcons then beat the Rams because the Rams sit everybody? Like how would everybody feel about that?
Yeah, like that's what I just outlined. Being bad at being bad.
Slovis, baby, get him out there. Here's another follow-up. Lamar Washington, $2. Does Arizona get an easy schedule next season? Well, they play in the West, so by default, it will be not easy. They will theoretically, though, get a 4th place schedule, Bo.
Yeah, but they play the AFC West, which which is a gauntlet, and then they play. I think the NFC East.
But they had an easy schedule this year, and they flipping blew it. They have the South in both conferences, and they're going to have a top 10 draft pick. The Bears right now, their schedule is decent, and they're going to win 11 games. I mean, we overreact to the schedule. The bottom line is, if you're not beating your division teams, or you're at least going 500, you're toast. You're absolutely toast.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, the schedule conversation has become just more of a moot point. You just have to be the Broncos to get a cupcake schedule somehow.
JTR Joey, if we get a top 10 pick, how possible is it we trade up for Mendoza? I mean, I think Austin Ford would have the cachet for a trade up. I don't know about Gannon, and Gannon doesn't pick the players. He'll tell you that.
Yeah.
But I think Austin Ford would have the cachet, but when is the last time a trade up has worked? That would be my only concern. And then, are you willing to punt on the next 3 first rounds to get Fernando Mendoza? I don't know. And also, the Titans would have to do the deal with you. The Jets, if they have the first pick, they're just taking them.
Yeah. And there are paths to getting back in the first round, right? I mean, you give up one in the upcoming draft or the draft after that, you can work your way back. I just I think Monty has the ability to get up, but it's going to be expensive, and you're going to have some takers, and there's going to be some QB needy teams in front of them that it's going to be tough to kind of match that price without it being kind of crippling as far as the draft capital goes.
I like the idea of trading up, though, for a guy who has the physical tools that he has.
Sure.
Like Bryce Young, that was a joke. Shaft is back, Bo. $5 directed at you. Bo, that would be a terrible beat in L.A. They would get Mendoza by giving it 2 firsts in 2026, a first in 2027, and if needed, a 2028 first. No one can beat L.A. I think they could lose to L.A.'s backups at this point. They're just not well coached.
They're losing in overtime to a 7-win team in the Jags. I mean, they're not completely devoid of. They've played more games tight than they haven't. That's what I don't think that they can't screw up and win a football game.
We'll see. How many more wins you got for them? Then we'll sign off.
I mean, I do think that, the Falcons game and the finale, those are the only ones you could say, hey, those are games that they, we'll see what the Rams do before that, but that they could be favored in just based on what the odds makers see. If the Rams are saying we're not going to play anybody in the finale, could the Cardinals, that's what I'm saying. But could they screw up and beat some teams? I think they could do that.
I look at that.
I'm not betting
right.
on the Bet365 app that they're going to do it.
I mean, the Rams right now you have a 1-game lead for the first seed in the NFC over the Chicago Bears.
Yeah.
I think there's a potential for the Rams to have a multiple game lead for the first seed. So that could be tricky. Desert Vulture 9776, $2, Bo. Who's developing this quarterback?
Who's their next offensive coordinator?
I will tell you in January. We'll have names before anybody else. It'll be somebody who's an experienced play caller. It'll be somebody who I believe probably will be a prior head coach. I feel confident of the names we know. Mm-hmm. The only curveball is the next developer of the quarterback, the next head coach of this team. What does that look like? I think
you wanted Robert Saleh to be the next head coach.
I do. I mean, if JG is fired, and again, that's not within my control to demand that or whatever, I would love Robert Saleh with just gutting the NFC West. I mean, I just think, look at Gannon, what'd they do earlier this month? They beat the hell out of the Cowboys. And Gannon's from the NFC East. And it's okay, had some success with that. I just think in the NFC West, man, you gotta be built for this. You gotta be built different, as my 10-year-old son would say. I'm built different. I would want to hoard coaches from this division. That's what I just would feel much better about my chances to compete with him.
The good coaches in this division. And there are good coaches. It's a great question. It's going to be one we're going to be trying to answer here. And, you know, does their current offensive play caller take one more step towards the door this Sunday? That's what we're going to be watching. We're going to do it with our watch along coverage beginning 10:30, not ending until the end of our post-game show. So pre-game, watch along, post-game. You guys jumping back in. I see Desert Vulture, $2. Gannon has 3 wins over teams with a winning record. Yeah, it's a tough resume. It's going to be a tough sell as far as this offseason goes. And you saw what the track record are for coaches that had sub 500 records. Some better looking than Gannon's. Like even had a tough task. It was an uphill climb to find success at this level.
I think if they are retained, they're behind the scenes, not excuse, but their rationale is they just haven't had enough players available. $2, and I'm not saying that they're right in saying that. I think they've had plenty. $2. Shaft, we need another Ben Johnson. Or Bruce Arians. I mean, Ben Johnson, Bruce Arians have a lot of similarities. Like Bruce Arians started 1 and 2, and then it became evident this guy's a big time head coach.
Right. I mean, your options are, I think, even though he's been a coach before, it's Saleh, kind of the defensive side of the football. And then I think Kubiak, like we were just talking about, both within your division.
Yeah, we gotta see. This is. I promise. Stick with us this next month of December. The Cardinals have a lot to play for, and we know it, and you know it, and we're going to be covering it ad nauseum beginning on Sunday morning, pre-halftime and post-game. Plus, our watch-along, as Bo mentioned. So, again, do us a favor. Subscribe if you haven't already to PHNX Sports here on YouTube, barreling our way to 50K. Take a look tonight, ASU, U of A in Tempe, and we'll have full coverage here on both podcasts, Sun Devils and Wildcats. So big ups to those guys. Noah's going to be hanging out with them as well. So banner weekend here in the Valley for Sports Suns. Just keep on winning. We'll see if the Cardinals can follow suit or lose their 8th game in 9 attempts. Woof. Bo, do you have a good weekend? Thanksgiving en route?
Looking forward to it. Some R&R before we head out to Wild Horse Pass. But everybody had a great time. Hope you and yours had a great time as well. BC's going for the Sun Devils. If you're a Wildcats fan, we got the best of both worlds. Both of our shows, they're going to have their pre and their post games. And if you got a chance, go see them out there with the Captain Morgan ship in Tempe. It's going to be an exciting night here for any Valley sports fan, whoever you're a fan of. But for Johnny and Noah, I'm Bo. We'll talk to you guys on Sunday right here at PHNX Cardinals.
We all silly like the mayor.